Welcome to my wrapped loop earring video tutorial, where you're going to learn how to make a wrapped loop for a bead or a pearl, and then we're then going to learn how to attach that to an earring finding in two different ways. On this one we have a wrapped loop and I've attached it to an earring wire. Now this earring wire is one that opens, and so it's easy to slip that on. But I'm going to show you another way of how you can attach the wrap loop to a finding that doesn't open. Okay, so let's get going. And to start with, you're going to need some tools. We're going to need some wire cutters to cut the head pins. We're going to need some round nose pliers, obviously to make the actual loop. And we're going to need some flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers. And they're actually to hold the loop while we secure it. So I'll show you that as we go along. And materials, to make a pair of earrings, you're going to need 2 beads of your choice, or pearls, 2 head pins, and 2 earring findings. Okay, right, so to start off with, we're going to do the wrapped loop and attach it to an open earring finding. Okay. So to do that, first of all, we take our bead that we've chosen, pop it onto the head pin, and we sit it at the base of the head pin. Okay, so then we're going to pop in our round nose pliers, and we put the round nose pliers at the right, as close to the bead as you can get. And obviously, dependent on the size of the space that you want, is dependent on where you have them in your round nose pliers. If you sort of pop them here, you're going to have a larger gap and you'll need more wraps. The closer you go to the tip of the pliers, the smaller that space is going to be. Okay, so I'm just going to go in a little way, as you can see there, and I'm going to make an angle. So I'm going to just bend that over. Okay, so I'm then going to take the pliers out, turn them around and pop them back in at that point there. And again, dependent on where you are on your pliers is dependent on the size of the loop that you're going to have. So I'm going to go in a little way again. So I've got quite a small loop. We're then going to wrap the head pin around like so. And now you have almost like a little shepherd hook shape. Okay, so I'm going to put my pliers back in at the same point and continue that wrap around. So now we have our head pin with our little loop there. Okay, so now we take our chain nose pliers or flat nose pliers and pop them across that loop. So we're completely covering that loop with the chain nose pliers. We then take the tail of the head pin and wrap it around. So we go 1, 2 and 3. So you can just tuck that in a little bit with your pliers. And then to cut that off, we're just going to raise that up a little bit, take our wire cutters and snip that off. Okay, so then you can use your pliers just to give that a bit of a squidge in so it's nice and neat. And there you have your wrapped loop. So you've got your bead and we've got our little loop on the top there to secure it to the earring finding. Okay, so now we've got our shepherd hook, and I'm using just a plain shepherd hook, and in this one we've got an opening loop at the bottom. So we're just going to pop our pliers in at this point where it's going to open, and we lift it up. So you can see there we're lifting that up, and we're sort of never open your hoop out because you'll lose your shape and you'll never get that back. So you just open it that way as if you're opening a door. And then we're going to pop on our little finding we've just made, a little wrap loop earring, and we're going to close that there. So now you've got your little wrap loop on your earring. Okay, so now I'm going to show you exactly the same thing, but now I'm going to show you how to attach that same wrap loop to a finding that doesn't open here, because some findings you have are complete here and they don't open to allow you to pop on a finding. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we start off in exactly the same way. So we're going to take our bead, pop it onto a head pin, and exactly the same as we did previously, I'm going to pop in my pliers. I'm going to make that angle, take the pliers out, turn them round at the same point and make that shape. So we've got our little hook shape there, pliers back in and around. Okay, so now we've got our bead at that point again. Okay, so we've got our little loop, but at this point, whereas before we held this and wrapped here, we need to attach this to the earring finding before we close that up. Okay, so again, this is an open one, but just imagine this is a closed jump ring here, or a closed earring finding. So I'm going to pop the end of that head pin through, and we're going to just pop that on there. So you can see that's on there, but not secure as yet. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open that up slightly. Now you can use your chain nose pliers if they're fine enough to get in there, or you can use your round nose pliers again, and we need to pop that across the loop that we've made with the head pin and just below the earring finding there. Okay, so now we've got that held in place, we can start wrapping again in exactly the same way that we did previously. Okay, and again I'm just going to squidgy that in a little bit, just tidy that up, and then we're going to cut off. Everything else then is the same as previous. So again, we're just going to tidy that up a little bit there, and there you have your wrap loop then attached to a closed finding. So it's a really the wrap loop technique is exactly the same. It's just how you finish it off as to opposed to what sort of finding you have. So I hope that tutorial was helpful to you, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel, and hope to see you soon.